A very lovely evening to you, and thank you for joining us on Kwara Television News for tonight. I'm Fatima Rashid. You can watch us live on Facebook, Kwara TV, on Star Times 113, Free TV 502. You can also check us out on YouTube. And with me on the news tonight, Kafayat.
Hello, Fatima.
Good evening.
A very lovely evening to you out there. I am Kafayat Ajadi.
And with me on the languages desk, starting from Nupi.
Bariki gani da lokaci da bana biya gani da labarin daga television kin kwa nace fu ya fata ya ku bai lori abun nan muna la na biya ne amma da pasan tan pa fu ya to pa she kaka ken wa biya gani na amma odo ya bi
kale pashala e kale asiki se lataro ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrin ayé ló ń dé sójú ìròyìn láti lè ṣe móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó kalẹ̀ sí àpáta Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin ẹ lè rí wa wò lórí Star Time channels 113 Free TV channels 502 àti bó ṣe ń lọ lọ́wọ́ lórí Facebook pẹ̀lú YouTube at Kwara TV. Fọláṣadé Ọ̀dẹ́lábí ni oníròyìn ẹ má bá wa kálọ.
We begin with the home front. The Kwara State Police Command has said that the 6 vigilante members earlier arrested by personnel of the Nigerian Army along the Auchi-Ipeshi Road in Akoko-Edo local government area of Edo State are now in its custody. And a statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer Tonwe Adeyemi today said the vigilante members were received on Wednesday, December 31, 2025. The command stated that the individuals were identified as legitimate vigilante members after investigations were conducted and consequently exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. The statement added that the group operating in collaboration with recognized security agencies in ongoing efforts to combat banditry and other forms of criminality. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner of Police, Adekimi Ojo, reiterated the command's commitment to synergy among security agencies and community-based security outfits, urging all groups to continually operate within the confines of the law. He assured residents that the command remains steadfast in its resolve to ensure safety and security of all residents of the state.
Nigerians have appealed to the federal government to grant the demands of resident doctors in order to prevent the resurgence of planned nation strike. Scheduled for January 12, 2026, the appeal follows growing concerns over the likely impact of the strike on the already strained healthcare system, particularly public hospitals that cater for millions of low-income citizens across the country. Staff reporter Busayo Aweda spoke with cross-section of residents in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Her reports.
The proposed strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, is linked to unresolved issues bordering on welfare, unpaid allowances, poor working conditions, and non-implementation of previously reached agreements by the federal government. Owing to the development, some concerned Nigerians who spoke with Kwara TV News called on the federal government to act swiftly and responsibly by meeting the doctors' demand, are critical to averting another health sector shutdown.
Most of our medical personnel are actually moving outside the country, which is actually affecting us as Nigerians. So the federal government should actually rethink over this and do the right thing.
Let the government look into it such that we will not record damages before we come trying to provide solutions.
While acknowledging the reasons adduced by the resident doctors, the respondents also made passionate appeal to them to consider the likely unexpected consequences that may come along with the proposed strike.
Go to hospital and see how many people would like to see doctors on the basis. There was a time I was there, doctors supposed to attend to only 12 patients, but because of the population of the inpatients, that doctor agreed that he will attend to about 24 that day. The others will come next week. What will happen within that day and that week means many people will die.
For the resident doctor to go back to on strike again is another issue. With the situation of the countries now that everybody knew that things are no more the way it's supposed to be. A lot of people have been affected, a lot of people have died. Patients or relatives are not being attended to.
They urged the doctors not to embark on another strike. For the sake of the masses, they noted that lives, especially those of pregnant women, children, and emergency patients, could be at serious risk if public hospitals are shut down. Busayo Aweda, Kwara TV News.
The Oyo State government has suspended the Shobaloju of Ofiki, Jacob Shobaloju, following allegations linking him to illegal mining activities and breaches of Executive Order 001/2023, which governs mining operations within the state. The state government said the action was taken to protect the public interest and preserve government gazetted assets. In a suspension letter issued by the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters and signed by the Director of Chieftaincy Matters, Mr. Olajiri, the traditional ruler was accused of contravening the executive order on forest reserve regulations by allegedly issuing consent letters to mining firms without lawful authorization. The letter further alleged that Shobaloju permitted mining activities within government reserved forest areas and facilitated unauthorized mining operations, actions said to be in violation of extant laws and regulations. The suspension was described as a precautionary step to ensure an unhindered and credible investigation process. Shobaloju is also directed to immediately cease all mining-related activities, including the issuance of consent letters, avoid interference with the investigation, and make himself available to investigators whenever required.
On the way from Oyo to Ekiti State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned residents of Ekiti State against engaging in multiple registrations for the Permanent Voters Card, PVC, stressing that offenders will face appropriate sanctions under the law. The Resident Electoral Commissioner REC in the state, Bumi Omoshenyidemi, issued the warning while speaking with journalists in Ekiti, as he announced the commencement of the second phase of the continuous voter registration CVR exercise in the state. Omoshenyidemi explained that the new phase of the exercise is designed to accommodate eligible voters who were unable to participate in the first phase or who need to update their details. The REC recalled that the initial phase of the CVR, which started on August 25, 2025, ended on December 10, 2025, to allow for the display of the voter registration for public scrutiny. INEC has scheduled June 20 for the Ekiti State governorship election, with the new administration expected to assume office on October 16. The commission also released the provisional list of candidates for the election on December 29, 2025. Under INEC guidelines, political parties have until January 12 to withdraw and replace candidates, while the final list of candidates will be published on January 19.
Residents of Ganaru area in Magama local government area of Niger State have discovered another unexploded explosive device suspected to be a missile 3 days after gunmen killed more than 40 people in Kasuan Daji. The device found on Tuesday is believed to be a Tomahawk missile warhead allegedly of United States origin, raising fresh security and safety concerns in the area. Report says residents were alarmed by the discovery, warning that unexploded military ordnance could easily be mistaken for scrap metal and handled by unsuspecting individuals. During the assault, the attackers also burnt down a mobile police checkpoint and ransacked several homes in the community. Report added that the checkpoint was targeted to delay or prevent security forces from responding swiftly to the attack, leaving residents exposed. The killings and subsequent destruction have left residents of Magama and surrounding communities in fear, with many expressing concerns about renewed violence, and local authorities have reportedly warned residents to immediately report any suspicious objects and avoid touching or tampering with unexploded devices due to the extreme danger they pose.
Back to the neighboring Oyo states, the management of Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company says there will be a scheduled power outage in some parts of Ibadan. IBEDC announced in a statement that the outage was caused by ongoing road construction along Footco Road and EDC. The distribution company stated that its facilities and assets are currently being relocated from the area, which has resulted in some electricity feeders getting switched off for about 3 hours daily. IBEDC said that the planned outage would last from Monday to Friday, and affected areas include Alalubosa GRA, Ogunkola Museum, Akinola Maja, Free Forestry College, Lead City, Lead British, House 18, 11th House, Commissioner, Nursing Home, Sunrise, and Post Housing. Customers in the Army Complex, Odua, Police Headquarters, Apampa, and Heavens, Blossom Heritage, Polo Clubs, and Ballet Akintayo would also experience the outage. You're watching Kwara Television News tonight. It's time for us to go on our first timeout. To be back with more details, stay tuned to Kwara Television News.
Welcome back. The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has announced that the 2026 Batch A Stream 1 orientation course will commence nationwide on Wednesday, January 21, 2026, across all 37 NYSC orientation camps in the country. The announcement was contained in a statement posted on the scheme's official X handle on Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Camp registration for all prospective corps members, according to the NYSC, will begin on the first day of the orientation exercise and last for 3 days. Report says that the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Lakunle Nafiu, urged all prospective corps members to travel safely to their various states of deployment. He specifically cautioned them against night journeys, stressing the importance of personal safety during the mobilization exercise. The NYSC management also advised corps members to strictly adhere to the orientation camp schedule to ensure a smooth and successful program nationwide. The NYSC scheme, which was established in 1973 to promote national unity and integration in the aftermath of the Nigerian Civil War, mandates the 3-week orientation camp as a foundational phase of national service.
Far north in Kano State, the state is experiencing rising political tension in the last 48 hours. Security presence has increased around the government house following disagreements between the leader of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf over planned defections. There have been strong indications that Yusuf, a political godson of Kwankwaso, is preparing to defect from NNPP to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The move, earlier expected, has reportedly been postponed to January 12 to allow the governor hold wider consultations, especially with lawmakers in the state assembly. Over the weekend, Kwankwaso had accused the governor of planning to hand over Kano to former governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, claiming the state had earlier been rescued from him. Ganduje was once deputy governor to Kwankwaso and a strong ally, but the two fell out after power changed hands on May 29, 2015. Reacting, the Kano State Governor's media advisor Alhaji Nagoda told newsmen that Yusuf still holds Kwankwaso in high regards. However, Nagoda added that the governor's move to APC was now necessary, expressing hope that Kwankwaso would eventually support it. The prominent APC figure in Kano, Abdul Majid Dambelki, accused both Governor Yusuf and Madugu Kwankwaso of secretary planning the move together.
And in a related development, the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has lifted its indefinite suspension imposed on Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf in 2025, following the investigation into allegations of misconduct against him. In a statement, the party said the suspension was lifted after thorough consideration of a report by a committee set up to investigate the allegations, which were allegedly linked to Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and his supporters within the party. The NNPC National Working Committee, in consultation with the party's founder and board of trustees, announced the decision during an emergency meeting at the party's Abuja National Headquarters. The party restored all rights and privileges to Governor Yusuf and appointed him national leader of the NNPP, describing the position as the highest elected office of the party platform. The NWC urged Governor Yusuf to use his leadership position to consolidate the party's achievements as it prepares for the 2027 elections. A statement was signed by the national chairman of NNPP, Dr. Agbo Gilbert.
Still in the news, the National Association of Nigerian Students has called off its proposed nationwide protest over the new Tax Reform Act following engagements with the Federal Inland Revenue Service and other government bodies. The decision was contained in a communique issued at the end of the maiden expanded National Executive Council meeting of the association, which reviewed the law and earlier concerns raised by the student body. NANS had earlier threatened to mobilize students from mass protests on January 14, 2026 if the implementation of the law was not suspended, pending the outcome of the National Assembly investigation and wider public sensitization. In a communique today by NANS President Olushola Oladoja, the student leadership held consultations with the National Assembly, the Department of State Services, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service, during which FIRS officials briefed student leaders and addressed their concerns. After the briefing, the consideration of the National Assembly's investigation report, the NAN president, and the law was aimed at strengthening revenue generation, protecting low-income earners, and ensuring more equitable tax contribution. He noted that the association resolved to support public enlightenment on the provisions of the law and affirmed the authenticity of the version released by the National Assembly, announcing the suspension of the nationwide protest earlier fixed for 14 January 2025.
And from the southeast in Abia State, teachers under the Nigerian Union of Teachers NUT have threatened to embark on an indefinite strike if the state government fails to address their welfare demands within 7 days. In a notice of ultimatum dated January 5, 2026 and signed by the state NUT chairman Kingsley Madu and the State Secretary, Nnenna Okonkwo. The ultimatum, which will expire on Monday, January 12, 2026, follows what the union described as government inaction on issues earlier raised in a communique dated December 19, 2025. The union lamented that the industrial harmony currently enjoyed in the state is being endangered by the failure of relevant government officials to act on teachers' grievances. NUT for the call for the cancellation of the proposed computer-based test format for promotion interviews is one that failure to meet the demands at the expiration of the ultimatum would leave it with no option but to direct its members to commence an indefinite strike.
Former Secretary to the Government of Rivers State, Dr. Tami Danagogo, has denied allegations linking him to a purported assassination plot against the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wiki, alongside Pastor Tombari Joseph Benner and others. In a statement by his Special Assistant Obele Briggs, Dr. Nagogo described the allegations circulating on certain online platforms as baseless, false, and deliberately fabricated. The former Minister of Sports emphasized that he has never engaged in any discussion, meeting, or plan involving violence, assassination, or unlawful activities. Nagogo stated that the claims are malicious attempts to tarnish his reputation, mislead the public, and drag his name into issues he has no knowledge of. The statement described the former SSG to the Rivers State government as a peace-loving, law-abiding citizen who has served Rivers State and Nigeria with distinction and integrity. It added that throughout his public and private life, he has consistently upheld the rule of law.
You're so watching Kwara Television News. We go for another break where we'll come back. It will be time for business, sports, and news from around the world. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. Now from the business desk, the price of premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, has continued to fall in recent times compared to the price it was sold a few months back. Kwara TV news crew, which visited some fuel stations and along the Kwara State capital, observed a long queue of vehicles have become a thing of the past at fuel stations. Wow, Dauda has more.
Premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, is a liquid mixture that is highly inflammable and derived from crude oil. It comprises of various hydrocarbons used mainly to power cars, motorcycles, and small engines. In Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Kwara TV News went round part of the metropolis for an update on the current price of the commodity. Some sellers of the commodity who spoke to Kwara TV News crew said the reduction in price, which spanned from 760 to 850 naira, is as a result of reduction in the price of crude oil. They said despite being in business to make profit, they brought down the price so as to make life bearable for the common man. They added that if the price of fuel, which is a major factor that determines the price of other commodities, is high, definitely its impact will be negatively felt in the country.
As a hitman, as a body, we try as much as possible to make sure that even though the price differences Definitely it will occur, but we try to tell our members that the differences shouldn't be much. If you are buying, at times it depends on the crude oil prices.
There are many reasons, like different reasons for businesses. One of the reasons that joins every businessman together is aiming of profits, which we are also in business for profit. And at the same time, we are in aiming of profit, and at the same time, we are in aiming of humanity. So we care about people, like we want them to get a service. We know that when there is increment in fuel price, it affects a lot of things.
Hope you will see changes maybe tomorrow or next tomorrow, but if people are okay, we will be okay.
Some buyers who spoke to Kwara TV News were excited over the price reduction, saying it has brought them relief.
This is the best for now, and we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Ó wà okay, a ṣì manage ẹ̀ náà, but tá bá lè bá reduce ẹ̀, a ṣì tún máa appreciate jù báyìí lọ.
They expressed optimism that as the price of PMS price come down, it will have consequential impact on the well-being of Nigerians. Kwara TV News observed that currently, most fuel stations sell PMS between 760 to 850 naira respectively. Wow, Dauda, Kwara TV News.
Away from business to sports, Nigeria Super Eagles have advanced into the quarterfinals of the 2025 African Cup of Nations after defeating Mozambique 4-0 last night. The outcome of the match played on Monday night thrilled football fans in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, to give applause to the team over their performance so far in the 2025 AFCON competition. Abdulatif Ahmed had interfaced with the respondents, and his report is presented from our studios. His report.
As AFCON 2025 progressed, Nigeria played their first knockout in the round of 16 against Mozambique on Monday, 5th January 2026 and won. The team dominated the field of play, an impressive performance that saw them score 4 goals to nil. Ademola Lookman opens the score line for the Super Eagles in the 19th minute of the game, while Victor Osimhen scored the second goal for the Super Eagles. 4 minutes later, Victor Osimhen scored his second goal of the game 2 minutes into the second half, as Akol Adams scored through a fantastic shot inside the box area in the 74th minute to seal the victory for the Super Eagles. Some football fans who spoke to Kwara TV News in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, were elated about the victory. They believe the Super Eagles can go against any team in the knockouts of the competition.
I can't say the winning or the score we did as a Nigeria is surprising. We have always been ambitious, and it's just one of the stuff we are made of. So it's a welcome idea, and I believe with that starting point, we are aiming to win the AFCON of this year by the grace of God. So
I was expecting for them to score more than 6 goals with the way they performed yesterday, and everybody was excited. We the fans, we were very, very happy with the performance.
They really performed because the network was good. The way they were passing the ball yesterday was so even the coach was happy. I could see it on him. So the only thing they just need to understand themselves, because along the line, Victor Osimhen was like trying to fault Lookman, which I saw it to be wrong. Nobody is perfect, and they really try during the match.
Nigeria will play quarter-final against the winner between Algeria and the Republic of Congo on Saturday, 10th January 2026.
Now from the foreign scene, Uganda has denied plans to shut down internet access during next week's elections, dismissing reports of a possible blackout as unfounded. Concerns were raised by the main opposition candidate, Robert Kyagulanyi, widely known as Bobby Wine, who last week repeated claims that the government intends to block the internet to disrupt mobilization and the sharing of election results. The fears has earlier intensified after satellite internet provider Starlink restricted its services in Uganda following a directive from the National Communications Regulator. Uganda goes to the polls on 15 January with President Yoweri Museveni seeking to extend his rule, now approaching decades. His main challenger is Bobby Wine, a former pop star turned politician. The election follows the 2021 vote, which was marred by protests, dozens of deaths, and a 4-day nationwide internet shutdown. Executive Director of Uganda Communications Commission, UCC, Yombi Thembu, who said there was no plan to cut internet access, noted that reports of an impending blackout were mere rumors, as the Commission's mandate was to ensure uninterrupted connectivity. Similar assurances were given by Amina Zawedi, the most senior official at the Ministry of Communications and National Guidance. She said the government had not announced or implemented any decision to shut down the internet during the election period, describing the reports as false and misleading. Zawedi also warned against the spread of false or inflammatory content online, stressing that digital platforms were subject to the law. And the report from Uganda concludes news from us. It will be time to take the news from languages, starting from Nupe, taken by Ahmed Kwasana Tankbafu. Kwasana. Thank you.
Let's let us share about the news in the another in the Asian pen Ahmed Kwasana Tankbafu. A car while Gido Kaji, Kwara, Bandi Agani today, that's a vigilante days are good fine, which in a day soldier. Kumbuchi de ki Nigeria we de won ekode awuchilo ipeshi da ekagom tengiyan akoko ni miki state yan odo no gba ni de afikwata abwani e ba takada na de fetiya daga so asunye kayan gora gido kaji kin kwara abuna ngai muton ejire ade yemi nyina na latu lakini ndache vigilante na ja ade ago na gata abude twafu ngai ga alagba na twafu mo obeniyan etwa go na de ya na de go ngada to nda ngai gan 2025 wona takara ti mo le gan be nga kire a nda chin na vigilante na ja na ide a request ni ndo de adde ni ma na zum na de dudu giwa de awadu ya ga na amale gwa tawo ya tabiya sapando ci na tagwa gan ale fijina na takara na ti mo ga be lo kede and that's a village in Najina, Nadi, Guafade, Ganabe, Tia to Lokagan, Dojani, they feel Pongandun, Dunoya, Yogakade, to Tabia Sapayan, Bandit in Akibagan, Tabia Sapanduchi, Amachia, Gaskat Kede, Zanja, Lion, Madia Chata, Kede, Kokai, Luani, Nadi, and Philafia, Kwara, Pongandun Dona. Kundundo ne daga cilelo na a gaya kan ikini da ladan ya tuya shi yan likita asibiti na ga resident doctor da kin Nigeria abu nan din gwamnati mun shi to ko wogan ya alikoli ne da agi kini tibo ne tin emi ya na daga ngo passport abde gwamnati be shi to ka de wo alikoli ne da agi ti a ja na ngo passport ta fugu go banye e tsana ne finga ko da ne ya na wurin nan aga etu ya ji na labari na e bayan cin shi lewo e bayan e boku tun e tun ji asibiti na ja na gwamnati dai ba ne ji mu na dai gwamnati na kama ba ni dai na ga ya kwace ji amfani ganin bai nan e gi labari bu sayo na dai ku labari ne kana ni mi yelwa ta kire pipan e tun dai lecturer resident doctor ne dai pa aga etu ya ji na yeti alikoli ya shishin aki na ide goyin gwamnati tuya na amma ci lo tutu ba na kide ci ba ni na de febe bayan gwamnati wannan kin tashi na gima gwa ko zaide zaki na je abu ne de na latu ba ga gan gola gil labari yin mitu bai babu nana ta kide gwamnati ti tunu lo bayan tupashi wo alikoli na de aji gan be lecture na jina etin sashi ya kyajo no na de agagba to jiwo ya no ebo na etu ya jiwo na de kwada na wale gan fo egbo na unje na la alheri bena ma ke yi na kubotun sashi to inga ga afani sashi kin Nigeria abun mana de zumaguma wa be fina fiya una ibe ina fiya alheri na lecture na jina a shila sile lo lugan takara ci gabe dai a ji kokari na wale gan na be tin ya kama zagi gime waje to wagiwa gizi to zando cin dai ba ta gil kwa be cinga nan ne a ji kokari majin ci koyan na ga cin lolo wa legan sashi to ga yan amfani da gidan gwanin tuna wa legan abeke yana kube ya be loto tugun ci wa legan ni na anya ni na iye dusu mu yana ya ji mara zo na da bana ya kin oyo ba ni de a tishin ye jindo shi ne gan so ba loju yan ejin ofikina de nga gan Chief Jacob so ba lọ́jọ́ òde san kan yi kire epo nu tanu mu chi ma e ba yan le fina la yu kide un de gwa dan za ni de e lo tun ku sagbade kwangwa mu chi ma idan mi e ko gwamnati yankin Ọ̀yọ́ na ti latula kide a ji ati san se tu ka ikin na gan e bode e mo e du fela fo ya etwa bi ne si bulo gboyin ya en afani ne de kin state mu ci den wuna ni me takada na tiyana lo yake dai kika yi kinuna na dai zanina daga unfubi daga tishi director daga ministry da lai ne tun ya kago gwamnati yange wa gizo nan to tun ya tuye tuji yakin oyo ne olajide nga izane de la takana de tun ba nu ala le fida ya etununa e ba na kenu na gami bebe na kede mu yi zana gbin gami tuna bayan bicina dai uncina na ma game je da gani biya na leta ne wasu kan na cima ke latula ke dai etu so ba lojun na bi ma ni mi le fi bana ke yo bi no mu yi zana ke dasmo to zan do ciyo gan abia ba kusa dai ka mu chono na ma game je da yan wani ne bu ke a cinu na nan tatu banda na mu yi gan wa bi game to ala to an sai yake sakan ji kinire bani ake da kin nan jabe ngai gan zaji le eleji mi de fi kana de ejina de gan ganaru ni mi de ka gum tin ya magama de na dan mi yake state yan nan jawo na bani de ake le bi ani woro ya e pa e fi bombo e pa e fi ndo china de abede le kin e ka gum tin chono na de ai gan mi zaji na zuma de zuma ya fu to na de za ta biya safani daidai da gafi juko yin kasuwan daji shi da wu zajire ainihin rayu shi ba nan epayin da gaban bayan epayin fi na dai a cin lilu aluwe efo ya talata funa a cin mai gaskiya kide gan nimi sashi na dai kin united states dai ji amfani mai cibe a ci to da fi gan bode egwa kan dai waya za ki tabiya na jona na magani ma ke location la lu za ngi de kan gwa mucin da suji nimi kan so kwata ba na ke tula binu ba na bi na ngai gan ba ga za mu ci dan yin ake kuni ma yanni na leba cha da so ya na ari da tuwa bana gwala mo po yi ba so na da ba mucin a da to ba ni de gikin cin zangi le tomato ile a da ba ci de pata udina na sashi yan fani sashi to mi le ba mu a ba ci de pata babo yin ba la ba na tulan ta pata ki ba ngan a za ku ci ba ni a gan pata ji zangi gamba ke de andu du kyu gaggabe ta bana dan galla ukun sha da gugu no e bo kya ci no ba no de ga tula to ndo shi na ga le ci gan na ba no anya na go ya gan a da na shi ba na gan ga go ya la gan ba ro na abala la ba la da ci de ina de no ji gan a jikini a ukun ci ladan gwata bu na no emi petrol yin no ba ni e ba ubo won di ki e shi zuma fo ndo no yo bayan a gan kendo na dai na baki na ce kun efo mo ba so yi na ba ni ya ti ba na bola ji labari emi tun bayi na ne babu na de lazan ti de chin lelo emi ta ide emi mita ide kin ilo ya mi ta kin kwa na a shi be won kide emi ta jo ba ni wa le gan sauki dabi na le titai lai ya na bayan na ba ni wa le gan lawo kide titai lai mita je bo chin bo no mu sha je tadia ni kin babu kin ilo ya bu no ni mi labari ni ngai ga awa udaudo láti làkiri èmi petrol na je ajikin ba foro ni mi èmi si ko na de gan crude oil na àǹfààní ma won ide a mato yi machine yi to engine wa je ndo si ga sha aga ki yen gba na ti si le lo yi ni ìlú rẹ̀ abúná ìbáyé etí kẹndùn náà àríkà ewé emisi petrol ìdé yìí náà láti làkiri ẹ̀wọ́ tún yẹn lítà nígbà nínú ìdé mítà lóṣòro nẹkún náà ìgbọ́n jìká bútádùn gbẹ̀gbẹ́ fi àtú múrígùtàn lo múrígùtà ẹ̀bẹ̀ gan fi àtú múrígùn nínú ìgbé máa kéde wòchèchè tí èmi yìí náà náà dín òǹbé èlèjì oúnjẹ ebó èlèjì kọ̀ yàn ẹ̀ẹ́bódé ẹ̀dùfẹ́ emo ijelede ya zangi a ci gabia kede ewo mi petrol nan gon ajin lawo kede nyina jide lawo etie eza dan zangi to ya afani je na kulo kulo atara ni wale gan zangi mu yana tula lo ba zangi etie du fe mo lafi wannan kama sai dai ashe mita ci tun mita ne na awai ga misana Allah la ya ba ni kide na ba na saki labia be kin do na shi mba nun amma ma kide ne wo ga chale alu ni na da ke law ke shi zuma gan be kin do ne kun ba ni e bode e du fi e bona ba ni ne kun yen ga ga ji ka ta ga fi atu mu gutan na saban do chuma wale ga ji ka gun lo atu wazo nga yin e kun ba ni no na ngan na ce bol ce ci yan Najeriya abu na ga Najeriya Super Eagles na ba ni dai gi lo gan be nasara gi na dai a nya na ga na sai bol na dai ya na dai gogara na 25 na African Cup of Nations na dai a kin na dai ga Mozambique na dai gi muni na amagi ndun duana ngai ga shi na dai shi na dai mu shi bol na dai a ce ya shi suwo ne ya atenina lawo kide an lawo ba ga miso kuma za yi dai za aminci ya bolce ci no yakin kwara abu jine yo abu ne do ta yakin kwara no kide ina wannan da falla bai bekin da na aji kokari a cigi nasara mu no Abdulatif Ahmed na de la zambe ga miso wa ga miso da bata no Allah tula kide hakika ya baji amma na bu to ba ngai ga ezakin kin a bol chechi na ya na to ba ngai ga bol de ni me e jigu ba na kin ba mu chon ngai o jori a gani be dia kongo ga na ga be gina sara ni me abon aga be shi ku kin na jina asibi fo na tsafu bu ni e tsam ne fin da ku da no to so gun so kula gina sara e bu e fila fa kin do to gogodo ndo na ki ada ban da ma ba gin be ji mi a gin ngai go de labo se da na kin ma go
kò ṣe pàṣánà tí ẹ bá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń tan móhùnmáwòrán yín ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrin ló ń lọ lọ́wọ́ nílé iṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó kalẹ̀ sí àpáta Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin ìròyìn ọ̀hún rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ti fi léde wípé àwọn fìjìláńtẹ́ mẹ́fà tí àwọn àjọ ológun mú ní òpópónà Auche Ìpẹ́ṣì níjọba ìbílẹ̀ Àkókò Ẹ̀dó ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ẹdó ti wà lákàtà àwọn báyìí. nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan látọwọ́ alukoro ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ yìí Tóun Èjìrẹ́ Adéyẹmí lónìí ló ṣàlàyé wípé àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ fìjìláńtẹ́ náà làwọn gbà ní ọjọ́bọ̀ ọjọ́ 21 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2025 iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ní àwọn ènìyàn náà ni wọ́n ṣe àfihàn ara wọn bíi ojúlówó ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ fìjìláńtẹ́ lẹ́yìn iṣẹ́ ìwádìí tí wọ́n sì wẹ̀ tí wọ́n yán kànkàn nípa ẹ̀sùn kankan tàbí ìwà ọ̀daràn. àtẹ̀jáde náà fi kún wípé àgbáríjọ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò ń ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun láti rẹ́yìn àwọn agbésùmọ̀mí àti àwọn ìwà tí kò bá òfin mu mìíràn ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. ẹ̀wẹ̀ kọmíṣánná àjọ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ yìí Adékìmí Òjó fi ọwọ́ ìfarajìn iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá sọ̀yà pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò tó kù láti dáàbò bo ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá àwọn ènìyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. àwọn ènìyàn ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ti rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ sí ìjọba àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí láti dáhùn ìbéèrè àwọn dókítà tí wọ́n fi ìmọ̀ kún ìmọ̀ láti lè pinwọ́ ìyanṣẹ́lódì tí àwọn dókítà náà dúnkòokò rẹ̀ pé yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọjọ́ 12 oṣù kìíní ọdún 2026. Ẹ̀bẹ̀ náà ló tẹ̀lé ìkọminú àwọn ará ìlú lórí ewu tó rọ̀ mọ́ ìdaṣẹ́sílẹ̀ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ìlera pàápàá láwọn ilé ìwòsàn tó jẹ́ ti ìjọba èyí tó ń mójútó àìlera ogunlọ́gọ̀ àwọn ènìyàn tó jẹ́ kòlà kò ṣe àgbè ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Bùsáyọ̀ Àwẹ̀dá jábọ̀ wípé tí ó bá àwọn ènìyàn sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ náà nílùú Ìlọrin ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara jábọ̀ wípé ìdaṣẹ́sílẹ̀ tí àwọn dókítà tó ń fi ìmọ̀ kún ìmọ̀ ń dúnkòokò rẹ̀ ló so mọ́ àìlákàsí ìgbáyégbádùn wọn látọwọ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti àìsan àwọn owó àjẹmọ́nú wọn kan tó fi mọ́ ṣíṣiṣẹ́ láwọn ààyè tí kò fararọ látọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti bí ìjọba kò ṣe lákàsí àwọn ìbéèrè wọn láti ọjọ́ pípẹ́ nígbà tí wọ́n ń gbà wípé ẹ̀tọ́ ni fún àwọn dókítà náà láti yanṣẹ́lódì kí wọ́n lè fi béèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ àmọ́ wọ́n ní kí wọ́n ro ìpalára tí ìdaṣẹ́sílẹ̀ náà lè ṣe fún àwọn ará ìlú. Wọ́n rọ àwọn dókítà wọn láti má ṣe gùnlé ìyanṣẹ́lódì rárá nítorí àwọn ará ìlú pàápàá àwọn olóyún, àwọn ògòwẹ̀rẹ̀ àti àwọn ènìyàn mìíràn tí wọ́n máa nílò ìṣiṣẹ́ wọn tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ pàjáwìrì bá wáyé láwọn ilé ìwòsàn tó jẹ́ ti ìjọba. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti ní kí Ṣọ́ba lójú òfìkì lọ́rọ̀ kún sí ilé ìyẹn olóyè Jacob Ṣọ́ba lójú lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n fẹ̀sùn kàn wípé ó ń lọ́wọ́ nínú ìwakùsà lọ́nà tí kò bá òfin mu ní ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ní ìgbésẹ̀ náà wà fún láti dáàbò bo ìfẹ́ àwọn ará ìlú nípa jíjàǹbá àwọn ohun ìní ìjọba. Nínú lẹ́tà tí wọ́n fi ṣọwọ́ kọ sínú náà látọwọ́ iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba tó ń rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ àti oyè jíjẹ tí ọ̀gá àgbà ọ̀rọ̀ náà nípa oyè jíjẹ jẹ́ arákùnrin Ọlájídé buwọ́lù. Olóyè náà ni wọ́n fẹ̀sùn kàn wípé ó tàpá sófin tó ń ṣàkóso ìwakùsà nínú igbó ọba tí ó sì lọ ṣèwé fún àwọn iléeṣẹ́ ìwakùsà kan láì gba àṣẹ tó tọ́. Lẹ́tà náà tẹ̀síwájú wípé olóyè Ṣọ́ba lójú fún iléeṣẹ́ tí ọ̀rọ̀ kàn ní àṣẹ láti ṣiṣẹ́ nínú igbó ọba àti ìwakùsà èyí tí ó tàpá sí òfin. Wọ́n ní ìrọ́kúnsílẹ̀ náà ni láti lè fi ṣe ìwádìí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún. Olóyè Ṣọ́ba lójú ni wọ́n tún pàṣẹ fún pé kò gbọ́dọ̀ lọ́wọ́ nínú ìwakùsà kankan lákòókò yìí, kò sì gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe ìwé fún iléeṣẹ́ kankan títí tí ìwádìí lórí ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn án yóò fi parí. Ó sì gbọ́dọ̀ yọjú nígbàkúgbà tí wọ́n bá nílò rẹ̀ lórí ìwádìí náà. Àjọ elétò ìdìbò ilẹ̀ wa ti jáwé akíwọ́wọ́ fún àwọn olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì láti yàgò fún ṣíṣe ìforúkọsílẹ̀ fún gbígba káàdì ìdìbò alálòpẹ́ ju ẹ̀ẹ̀kan ṣoṣo lọ láti lè má lùgbàdì òfin. Kọmíṣánná fún àjọ INEC ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì Bùnmi Ọmọṣẹ́yìndèmí ló jáwé ìkìlọ̀ náà nígbà tí ó ń bá àwọn oníròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ nílùú Àdó Èkìtì lákòókò tó ń kéde ìgbérasọ ìṣíkejì ìtẹ̀síwájú ìforúkọsílẹ̀ fún káàdì ìdìbò alálòpẹ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Ó mú wá sí ìrántí àwọn ènìyàn pé iṣẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọjọ́ 29 oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2025 tó sì tẹnubẹ́po ní ọjọ́ 10 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2025. Bákan náà àjọ INEC ti ya 20 oṣù kẹfà sọ́tọ̀ láti dìbò gómìnà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì kí àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ tuntun fún ìpínlẹ̀ náà sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ lọ́fíìsì kó wá wọn ní ọjọ́ 16 oṣù kẹwàá. Bákan náà ni àjọ INEC fi léde orúkọ àwọn olùdíje fún ètò ìdìbò tó wáyé ní ọjọ́ 29 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2025. Bí ó ṣe wà nínú àkọsílẹ̀ àjọ INEC, àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú sì ní àǹfààní láti ṣe àyípadà ọmọ oyè tí wọn kò bá fẹ́ lò mọ́ títí di ọjọ́ 19 oṣù kínní ọdún 2026. Ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kánò ló ń fojú winá àìfararọ ìjà òṣèlú lákòókò yìí. Láti bí wákàtí 48 ni ètò ààbò kò ti fararọ lágbègbè ilé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ náà lẹ́yìn àìgbọ́ra-ẹni-yé láàrin aládarí ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú New Nigerian People's Party NNPP Rabiu Kwankwaso àti gómìnà Abba Kabir Yusuf lórí èròǹgbà rẹ̀ láti kúrò nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà. ó ti fojú hàn gbangba pé Yusuf tó jẹ́ ọmọ fún Kwankwanso nínú òṣèlú ń gbèrò láti kúrò lẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú NNPP lọ sí ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress APC. Ìgbésẹ̀ náà ṣáájú sọ wípé wọ́n ti sún sí ọjọ́ 12 oṣù kínní ọdún yìí láti lè jẹ́ kí gómìnà ráyè ṣe ìpàdé pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Kano. Lópin ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá ní Kwankwanso fẹ̀sùn kan gómìnà pé ó ń gbèrò láti gbé ìṣàkóso ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kano lé gómìnà àná Abdullahi Umar Ganduje lọ́wọ́, èyí tí ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n jàjàbọ́ kúrò lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ni. Ganduje ló fìgbà kan jẹ́ igbákejì gómìnà Kwankwanso, àmọ́ tí wọ́n pínyà lẹ́yìn tí agbára yí padà ní ọjọ́ 29 oṣù karùn-ún ọdún 2015. Nígbà tí ó ń fèsì sí ọ̀rọ̀ náà ní akọ̀wé ìròyìn gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kano Alhaji Nagoda nígbà tí ó ń bá àwọn oníròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ ṣàlàyé wípé ẹni àpọ́nlé ní Kwankwanso sì jẹ́ sí Yusuf. Ẹ̀wẹ̀, Nagoda fi kún pé ó pọn dandan kí gómìnà lọ sí ẹgbẹ́ APC tí ó sì nírètí pé Kwankwanso yóò padà fara mọ́ tó bá yá. Ìlúmọ̀ọ́ká ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC kan ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kano Abdulmajid Dambidiki ti fẹ̀sùn kan àti gómìnà Yusuf àti Kwankwanso pé àwọn méjèèjì ń gbèrò láti padà sí inú ẹgbẹ́ APC àmọ́ lábẹ́nú ni wọ́n ń ṣe é. Akọ̀wé sí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers ọ̀mọ̀wé Tamin Danagogo ló ti jiyàn ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn án wípé ó ní wọ́n ṣe pẹ̀lú bí àwọn kan ṣe ń fẹ́ ṣekú pa mínísítà fún olú ilẹ̀ wa Àbújá ìyẹn Nyesom Wike. Òun pẹ̀lú pásítọ̀ Tombari Joseph àti àwọn mìíràn. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan látọwọ́ olùbádámọ̀ràn pàtàkì sí Obele Brigid ni dókítà Danagogo ti ṣàpèjúwe ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn án tó ń jà ràn lórí ayélujára bí irọ́ tó jìnnà sí òótọ́ àti pé àgbéléhùn lásán ni. Mínísítà fún ọ̀rọ̀ eré ìdárayá nígbà kan náà ṣàtẹnumọ́ rẹ̀ pé òun kò bá ẹnì kankan ṣe ìpàdé kan tó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú dàǹdùkú tàbí ìṣekúpani tàbí ìwà tí kò bá òfin mu rárá. Danagogo sọ di mímọ̀ wípé àwọn tí wọ́n gbé ìròyìn òfegè náà síta kàn fẹ́ mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ ba òun lórúkọ jẹ́ tí wọ́n sì fẹ́ sọ orúkọ òun mọ́ nǹkan tí òun kò mọ́wọ́ mẹsẹ̀ nínú rẹ̀ láti tàbùkù bá òun ni. Àtẹ̀jáde náà ṣàpèjúwe akọ̀wé sí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ènìyàn tó máa ń lọ jẹ́jẹ́ tí ó sì máa ń tẹ̀lé òfin tí ó ti sin ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers àti orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú ìwà ọmọlúàbí, pẹ̀lú àfikún wípé ní gbogbo ìgbà tó fi ṣiṣẹ́ ìlú àti lákòókò tí kò sí lọ́fíìsì ó máa ń tẹ̀lé òfin. Iye tí wọ́n ń ta jálá epo bẹtiróòlù ló ti já wálẹ̀ láwọn oṣù mélòó kan sí àkókò yìí. Ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ yìí ṣàbẹ̀wò sáwọn ilé epo kan nílùú Ìlọrin tí ń ṣe olú ìlú ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara láti rí bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ, tí wọ́n sì rí i pé àwọn ènìyàn kò pọ̀ lọ́pọ̀ yanturu mọ́ láti máa lo wákàtí púpọ̀ tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ra epo bẹntiróòlù. Wọ́n ní ó ti di ìtàn àtijọ́ báyìí. Àwa ò dáúdà jábọ̀ wípé lára àwọn olùtajà epo bẹntiróòlù tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ṣàlàyé wípé ohun tí ó mú kí jálá bẹntiróòlù tí wọ́n ń tà ní àpò 4.5 sí 5 nígbà kan já wálẹ̀ kò ṣẹ̀yìn iye tí wọ́n ń ta epo rọ̀bì tí ó ti já wálẹ̀ báyìí. Wọ́n ní bí ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ó yẹ kó jẹ́ ìdùnnú fún àwọn bí owó tí wọ́n ń tà ṣe wálẹ̀ látàrí wípé owó ni àwọn ń ṣe láti jèrè, àmọ́ àwọn náà gbé sí iye tí wọ́n ń ta jálá epo, àwọn gbé wálẹ̀ láti lè mú ayé rọrùn sí fún àwọn ará ìlú. Wọ́n tẹ̀síwájú nínú àlàyé wọn wípé bí epo bẹtiróòlù tó jẹ́ ohun ní gbogbo ènìyàn fi ń ṣe òdiwọ̀n iye tí wọ́n ń ta nǹkan lọ́jà ṣe wálẹ̀, ó yẹ kí àwọn ará ìlú kí wọ́n ní ìmọ̀lára rẹ̀. Lára àwọn olùra epo bẹtiróòlù tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn Kwara TV sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n fi ìdùnnú wọn hàn lórí ìjáwálẹ̀ náà tí wọ́n sì ní ó mú ara tu àwọn sí. Ikọ̀ ìròyìn Kwara TV wòye wípé jálá epo bẹntiróòlù ni wọ́n ń tà ní àpò 3.5 sí àpò 4 náírà báyìí lákòókò tí a wà. Pẹ̀lú ìròyìn la fi máa fún ọ̀dà fún ti àṣálẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun tẹ́tí ń tẹ́tí tiwa. Fatima Rasheed Abomire Ejamarile.
And that's how we wrap up our news for tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of it. From the languages desk, starting from Pasana.
To, yayin da lari mun cin game da fiye su kwa buwai shi a yi silent a mai da Pasana ta fafi. Ọdúnlábí báwo ló ń.
Ǹjẹ́ títí di ọ̀la tẹ́tù máa pàdé wa fún ìròyìn àti ètò lọ́lọ́kan ọ̀jọ̀kan Fọláṣadé rẹ̀ lájú ló ń sọ pé ó dàárọ̀ oorun rẹ̀ là ó sùn.
And I am Kafayat Ajadi.
Thank you once again for being part of our news. I am Fatima Rashid. Do have a very lovely night.